Okay. Anybody in are either of you guys in the Facebook group to see if it's showing up?
Check it right now. Yep, looks like we're live from what I can see on mine.
We're here. I can see it.
All right. YouTube is live. What's up, YouTube? I am not. Oh. I'm not seeing the live on Facebook, but if you guys are, I trust you. I'm sure it's there.
I may not actually let it get started broadly until 12.
Oh, that's very possible too. Yeah, I guess.
Yep. All right.
Less than a minute.
We're so close.
So close. Tim Walker is live. I see it live on your page, Tim.
T-Walks.
Yep.
Streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. Oh, the network in the group. We got to add that stream key. Well, that's not working.
Uh-oh. We're all keyed out.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Posting group, Allies Network group. Okay, give us just a second here.
That's so close.
Before.
All right.
Streaming software. Copy.
Some guy named Tim Walker just wrote in the chat.
That's some serious multitasking right there.
That is multitasking.
Live on the podcast and live in the comments. How about that?
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
All right. I don't know what. Oh, it just says offline, but now it just said sending data. So hopefully,
are we there?
It is about to begin in the Allies Network group.
Nice.
Okay.
I had to delete it out of the channels and then re-add it.
Maybe
the stream key changed or something. Not sure.
Seems suspicious.
But very suspicious. And I think we just blame Ian and say it was his fault.
What else is new? All right.
Still just says sending data.
I mean, we saw it on Facebook.
You saw it in the Allies Network group?
I clicked on the event in the Allies Network group and it took me right here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the group.
Yeah. Jonathan commented on there and said, "Is there someplace else we need to join? Anything I click on loads the same page." So let me turn it off and back on. Sorry, everybody. Let's try one more time.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah,
that's the famous phrase. All right.
I'm going to post on my personal page as well. Oh, and I guess what I could do is go into the Allies Network and just post a link to it.
Yeah, I was gonna share it, like, because I've got it live on my
Yeah.
Facebook.
Can you
sharing
share
it, Michael?
If you can share it into that group,
that
would be perfect, and then we will get started.
All right.
Because it still is not connecting for some reason, but
the guy from Arkansas named Will who's watching us.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, he's crazy. Be careful. All right, we posting up?
Yep, getting it all sent off now.
All right. Maybe we should add music.
Yeah, there you go.
And keep that going. All right.
All right, I'm going to post it in the discussion of the event too. Oh, hey, there we go. We are live in the event.
Yeah, I've been in there, so that's what I was wondering. Is it supposed to come up on the group, in the group?
Dennis Wagner joined, Jacob.
Dennis Wagner.
Claypool. Jake Claypool.
All right, now we're starting to make it connected here. All right.
There it is.
Heather's wife's dropping comments.
What?
Oh, look out.
I didn't notice the last name. I just saw that and I was like, hey, Heather, back off. He's married.
Yeah.
We're just happy to get comments.
Yeah. Yes.
So say whatever you want to say.
Kick us off, man.
All right. Listen, welcome to our first our first live workshop. So here's the deal. Whether you're on YouTube or Facebook Live, wherever you're at, this is our first time in the Allies Network to do a live workshop, which are conversations that are real conversations for real pastors. And so here's the question we're going to ask today. When's the last time you actually took a real vacation with your family and you didn't stress about the cost? Now, if you're like most pastors, that sounds impossible. It does to me. But today we're going to change all of that. And we're going to be talking about how you can start traveling for, wait for it, free. So I'm Ian Dunaway here. I'm the Director of Ministry Development. We have Michael Schaefer, our Executive Director, with us, and the one and only Pastor Tim Walker, a.k.a. the pastor who turns burnout into boarding passes. So we're going to learn about all that magic today. So if you've ever thought, there's no way I can afford this trip, I want you to hang tight because you're about to find out just how possible it is. So let's jump in, Michael, Tim.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Good.
Fantastic. Ian, you mentioned it already, but man, this is our first one of these we've done. And so we are excited with G6 Allies. Based on Galatians 6:2, our ministry, our mission is to help carry the burdens of one another, particularly those of pastors and their families, because they carry, you guys know, the burdens and the struggles and the weight that is on the shoulders of ministry leaders, of church leaders. And a lot of times there isn't someone there to carry that burden for them. And that's what we want to be. We want to be a tool and a resource to help shoulder that burden so that pastors are healthy, so that they are balanced in life and in ministry, that they don't experience burnout, which I love the tagline there, the going from burnout to boarding passes. I don't know if you've used that before or not, Tim, but that's a freebie.
I've not, and if he's not yet
it's
copyrighted,
$1 a use.
I just might have to take that and run with it.
Maybe some royalties in there.
We charge $1 a use. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
But that's our heartbeat as G6 Allies, and one of the ways that we want to help carry those burdens is by introducing everyone to various resources and tools that ministry leaders can use that benefit them in a variety of areas of life. And I'm thrilled for today's conversation because I know it's going to benefit many of us. As we talk with pastors, one of the things we hear over and over again is that I am exhausted. I'm tired. I just don't have the money to go travel. I haven't taken a vacation in years, right? And that's understandable. Pastors make less money, all the different things that go with that. We're really busy and all of that. But primarily it's, if we had the money to buy a bunch of plane tickets and go somewhere on vacation, we could find a way to make it work, right? But we just don't have the money to do it. And this conversation, I think, is going to be really, really helpful for you. So, Tim, I'm gonna move you to the bigger screen here so that you get the lion's share of the FaceTime here. But man, hey, welcome, Tim. So glad that you are with us. And why don't you give everybody a little bit of context? Who is Tim? Tell us about your church, about your family. Go ahead and jump into that and let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Michael. Let me just say, Michael and Ian, I love what you guys are doing with the G6 network. I believe that it is so easy for pastors to feel isolated and alone on an island. And I love that you're building bridges between them and really investing in pastoral health. We do a lot to catalyze collaboration in our area as well. And one of the main reasons for that is we often say that the reality is in pastoral ministry, your church will rarely be healthier than you are. Right. And there's so many areas of health that matter, like getting away and being able to be refreshed, but also relationships. And not just relationships with people who are far away, but even relationships with gospel-centered pastors and ministry leaders right in your own neighborhood and network and local area. And so thank you for what you guys do to bring pastors together. Really grateful for you guys and excited for this conversation. So I am from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So if you are a fan of The Office, I'm just south of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
So here in the Northeast, not originally from here, originally from Detroit, Michigan. That's where some of the Michigan Wolverines and Tom Brady gear that you see above me, that's the connection to that.
We'll let it slide. Let it slide.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm even willing to charitably help some Ohio State fans maybe get a vacation every now and then.
Let's be honest, though. Are Buckeyes fans worth helping?
They need a lot of it. So, I mean,
I just want to see how you'd answer that.
Yeah,
good answer.
Yeah. So originally from Detroit, Michigan, moved out to Pennsylvania in 2008. So I've been out here for 17 years now. And shortly after moving out here, I was introduced to the city of Wilkes-Barre. And my introduction to Wilkes-Barre came working with the homeless community, working with people trapped in addiction, mentoring fatherless teenagers from the projects. And really, as those people became my friends, they started saying things to me like, hey, Tim, there are some okay churches around here. There just aren't very many where we feel like we belong. Oftentimes our experience in church is we go to places where there's a clear us versus them divide. We're their charity project, not one of them. So God really just started breaking my heart for the most broken people, the most broken places, and really the gospel gaps right here in an impoverished urban city like Wilkes-Barre. As I started looking at it, I realized that actually the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area is the 12th most post-Christian area in all of America. Oh, wow. So 97% of the people that we live and lead amongst do not yet know Jesus. But where other people see obstacles, we saw opportunities to step in and bring the hope of the gospel to an area that oftentimes felt like this is a forgotten place with a whole lot of forgotten people. So I teamed up with my best friend in college, recruited a team, and we moved here in May of 2012 to plant Restored Church. So we started with 4 of us in a living room. Really, our heart from the very beginning has been that we have the privilege to be a church of and for the poor. And there's some really unique opportunities that come with that. And really the story of our church from 2012 all the way through today has really been that God's done something much bigger and much quicker than we would have ever imagined. Probably my favorite thing to celebrate about the journey that God has had us on is that we've celebrated almost 220 baptisms. Oh, wow. And it has been incredible seeing people that Jesus has just radically transformed. Our church is really unique, not just in that we're a church of and for the poor primarily, but beyond that, we're also a church that's primarily filled with first-generation Christians that Jesus has rescued out of addiction, gangs, prostitution, homelessness, prison, atheism, Satanism, and everything else in between. So we just have a burning passion to be able to reach those who are where we were and are so privileged to play a small part in something much larger that God's doing in our area. It's interesting. I actually started out in ministry single. So I met and married my wife at our church. So my wife, Heather, came to our church the week before our grand opening and took a huge risk a few months later, and she dated her pastor. Then she said yes when her pastor proposed to her. And so we got married in the fall of 2015. So we are coming up on our 10th wedding anniversary. I'm a girl dad. I've got 2 girls. My oldest, Lucy, is 8. My youngest, Emily, is 6. We live right here in the community that we have the privilege of leading in. And we just love the opportunity to be able to incarnationally invest and be rooted for redemptive participation right here in the community. And so grateful for everything that God's given us the privilege to be a part of.
That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Listen, we're excited, man, to get down into it. It's always cool to see pastors that are doing God's work, doing ministry, doing well, and serving and helping others as well. I mean, that's just, we don't hang together. Man, nobody knows what we're going through usually other than us. And so, man, thank you for taking the time to share that story and to share who you are. I'm excited for us that we're getting some chats coming in, and so. I want to encourage you all as Michael and Tim start discussing and talking about how we travel hack. It sounds illegal, but it's not. It sounds like I'm a hacker. I'm a travel hacker. But the only island we want you to be on is the one that you fly to when you travel hack. So if you have questions or you have comments or you love the jokes and the discussion and the wit, we want you to put them in here because I'm going to be checking those and we're going to bring them back up. So putting a question at any time is super helpful, and we'll do our best to get to everybody's in the chat. But Michael, Tim, take it away.
Yeah. So, Ian, can I just say that in the spirit of shaping student ministry, I love to see that your student ministry is shaped by a fantastic sense of humor. That's great. I love it.
That is true.
It's all that matters. It's also shaped. I always say, just because of Buddha, I have the body of a god, just not the God that I worship. So there's a lot of shaping going on, man. I just want to sculpt. I need sculpting student ministry for bodybuilding. Can we find somebody do that? We get John the Bees on here at one point to talk about sculpting student ministry.
We might do that. We might do that.
Oh, very good. Well, impressive.
All right, so let's talk travel hawking. Travel hacking.
That's when you get the tickets and then try and sell them outside of the.
That is illegal.
I got 2. I got 2 for Fiji.
Yeah. Travel hacking. There you go. Go ahead and, since now we've framed it as something maybe quasi illegal, why don't you explain to us, Tim, what is travel hacking?
Yes, absolutely. So I promise you, travel hacking is not a scam. It is not illegal. It is completely legit. The reality is we all have hacks that we enjoy in life and leadership. And as leaders, we typically become quite adept at figuring out what are the hacks that are going to make us more effective and more efficient in life, family, ministry, and beyond. So unknown to many people, you actually have the opportunity to hack travel as well. So travel hacking is strategically layering and leveraging credit card rewards on everyday expenses in order to be able to enjoy thousands of dollars in free travel. So I've had the opportunity to do this for a number of years. And it's been a huge gift to our family. Reflecting on my story and kind of where travel hacking came in. Here's kind of how we entered into it. I told you a lot of the exciting parts of ministry in my story, but it was equally exhausting finding ourselves in a place where it just felt like being in such a high trauma, high intensity urban ministry that we were perpetually crushed under the weight of compassion fatigue. We barely made enough money to live on. We just kind of skated by paycheck to paycheck. And so we never really made enough money to travel. And so what it felt like we had to beg, borrow, and steal every year just to get a vacation. And our vacation was contingent on who would take pity on us and in order to help us out. And so to be clear, there were some really generous, godly people who I'm grateful for that gifted us some really refreshing vacations. But that wasn't always the case. I remember the trip that broke me. Most of us in ministry have seen some version of those free or discounted pastoral housing, pastoral vacation options that float around. And I'm grateful for those. Those are a gift and are useful in some ways. But what I very quickly found is the best options typically go pretty quickly. You got to be like 12 months out to the day in order to be the first one through on the phones.
Some pastors retire before they get there.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes there's a great place that will give you a very limited stretch of time. So you might get a night or a weekend, but it's hard to find something that's really good and gives you some longevity to actually be able to unwind and relax. So I remember one year, somebody gave our family a beach house down near the Atlantic Ocean in New Jersey. I was super excited. A beach house, 10 days. We were like, man, this is going to be incredible. We get down there and we found this place was literally mold-filled, mosquito-infested.
Oh.
And I remember I was so discouraged. Like my wife and I spent 2 full days just cleaning that disgusting place. I remember coming back from that vacation and those 10 days more exhausted and more discouraged than when I left. And I remember thinking as a dad going, man, I don't want to I don't want my kids to grow up and go, hey, remember how dad always took us on crap vacations because we were in urban ministry and we could never afford anything better. Yeah. And so it brought me to a point where I started searching, trying to figure out what can I do to solve this problem that our family perpetually has, where every year we just aren't able to travel and we never know whether or not if we're going to be able to get away and where that's going to be and, how good or bad that option might be. And so I started searched for quite a while. And along the way, I found travel hacking. And to be honest, when I first found it, I was like, no, hold on. This is too good to be true. What's the catch? I don't know about this. So this, for me, this really didn't start as like a business endeavor or anything like that. This really just started as a solution to our family's biggest problem in ministry. Now, years removed from that, what's been incredible is now we've gotten to the point where we have the freedom to be able to travel wherever, whenever, however much we want. And we don't have to fight blackout dates. We don't have to worry about, we don't have to worry about whether or not we're going to be able to afford it. We're not stressing out about the cost, all kinds of things. And so it's just been an incredible opportunity. I'm really grateful for it. It has been quite the journey that we've been on.
That's incredible. Awesome. Well, so let's dig a little deeper into travel hacking. Why don't you just kind of tease out for us how it works? Like if you've never heard of travel hacking before, and this is the first time you're encountering that idea, give us kind of the layman 30,000 foot view of what it is, and then we'll dig into some of the specifics of it as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in a lot of ways, I think one of the things that I often encountered when I first found it is I was like, man, this appears to be really complicated and complex. And I'm busy and stressed enough without having one more thing to figure out. Then I got into it and I was like, oh, wow, this is really like quick, simple, and easy. So in my first year, I ended up earning 1.2 million travel rewards points, which was incredible. So how did that work? What's the process if you want to get into it? So I would say there's really 3 steps that you have to take to get into travel hacking. Step 1 would be to determine your travel goals. So everybody likes to vacation differently. Some people prefer the mountains. Other people run to the beaches. Some people like hotels and resorts. Other people prefer house rentals. Some people would rather get on a cruise ship than get on a plane. However you like to travel, whatever size your family is, whatever preference you have in terms of what you find refreshing, travel hacking works because there's really no one size fits all option. It's not limited to a particular form of travel. So starting out, you've got to determine your travel goals. How do you want to travel? Where do you want to travel? What type of travel would you enjoy? And the cool thing is when you do that, you can dream big. Don't think like, hey, we'd like to get a $150 hotel room for the weekend, for the first time in 2 years. Dream big. Think about where and what would be actually refreshing and replenishing to you. Where would be the type of place that you would really enjoy? So start by determining your travel goals. That's step 1.
Okay.
Step 2.
And before we get into step 2, can I ask the chat to put in the chat what that city is? Where's that dream big place that you want to go?
Yeah, give us a city.
I want to go to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. want to see majestic Wilkes-Barre.
Yes, there you go.
I'll tell you, that's probably the first step is the one that gets me every time, because I don't think through that. Like I go, man, a vacation would be nice. And then I don't. My wife would just live on a beach. If you've got travel hacking for living on a beach for the rest of your life, my wife will do it, and I'll visit her. But I think that's an important question. And I don't even know if I would have thought those things were that different. Like I would have thought, oh man, you just do it. So that's important.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Somebody wants
Jonathan
to go to
Halstead.
Prague.
That was me. I kicked things off for us.
Jonathan Halstead wants to go to Bali.
Oh, surf trip to Bali. John.
Nice.
I've never surfed, but I would go with you for sure.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not a surfer, and I didn't feed this to Michael, but Michael, I'm actually going to be in Prague in a month.
Are you really?
My wife and I for our 10th anniversary. Yeah. My wife and I for our 10th anniversary travel hacked a 2-week trip to Europe. And so we're going to spend some time in Prague, which is cool. There we go. Ronnie wants to go to Scotland. Yeah, that sounds like a ton of fun.
Love Scotland.
Yeah.
Haggis. 2 to 3 weeks in New England, in the New England states, which is kind of just like a regular state when you compare the size. So not a hard trip. Well, a dream trip to Europe or New Zealand. I know a few guys that have been to New Zealand, and that seems unattainable to me. And I know it's not. And we're going to talk about how it's not, but that just seems like that's one that I wouldn't even put on a list, because I'd just be like, I can't get there.
Yeah. So I think, Ian, that's an interesting point, because I think so often, because we're used to like living on the margins with no margins, we often kind of have this like scarcity mindset. And so it's hard for us to dream, and it's especially hard for us to dream big, because we're not used to dreaming. We're used to creatively cutting corners.
That's right. That's right.
And so we have this like cynicism and skepticism that we call realism. And we go, well, I know I'll never be able to take the types of trips most people take. So let me figure out, like, how do I, pack up the minivan and drive a couple hours down the road and maybe spend a night at the water park or something like that. Yeah. But to actually dream big and go, all right, so, hey, I'm with Jake. Let's go to New Zealand and see where they filmed Lord of the Rings. That sounds like incredible, which would be a lot of fun. So, yeah, keep dropping those comments in there. I'd love to see where else you guys want to go.
The older you get, I feel like the worse it is for New Zealand or in Australia, because you got to get the jet lag over with if you don't fly it right. I think I need a 3-week trip just to enjoy a day.
Okay, so step one, let's jump. Sorry for the little detour there, Tim. But I hate to break up your flow, but 3 steps. Step 1 is determining your travel goals. Tell us about step 2.
Yeah, step 2 would be signing up strategically for the right cards that align with your travel goals. So let me explain what I mean by that. There are different types of travel rewards credit cards. There's actually like 95 different ones on the network, on the market. There's a lot. But you got to think through like what type of cards would actually align with your travel goals. So if you're somebody who's terrified of flying, a card that offers really good flight benefits probably isn't going to help you out too much. If you're somebody who really would love to do, all-inclusive resorts, okay, figure out what type of points could get you there. If you're somebody who wants to go on a cruise, look at those options. And so the biggest question I often get is, okay, so Tim, what's the first card that you recommend to everybody? To be clear, travel hacking is not about signing up for tons and tons of credit cards. Sometimes people think and fear that. Really, quality matters more than quantity. But the first card that I recommend to every person who wants to get into travel hacking is the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. So the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, here's how it works. You can sign up for that card. And if you spend $5,000 in your first 3 months, you'll get, actually right now, if you sign up this month, you'll get 75,000 bonus points with that. So some of you might go, man, $5,000, that sounds like a lot of money. Don't get overwhelmed by that number. If you spend $1,700 a month on gas, groceries, insurance, your cell phone bill, your subscriptions, dining, whatever else, some of you might be on a shoestring budget. I totally understand that, like, not being a high earner, not being a high spender myself, but really travel hacking isn't about spending more money. It's not about spending money you don't have. It's simply about channeling the money you're already spending through the right cards. So let's say you do that with the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. You spend $5,000 in your first 3 months. You now have 80,000 points that you have to use. But let me share with you a tip that will more than double those points. So most people, when they sign up for credit cards, one person signs up for it and they add on their spouse as an authorized user. If you don't do that, here's a way you can easily double your points. So let's say you sign up for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. You spend those $5,000 in 3 months, you get your 80,000 points, and then you refer your spouse to get the exact same card. So they're going to get 80,000 points when they meet that $5,000 spending requirement. And then you're going to get a 15,000 point referral bonus. So that means just by you and your spouse each sign up for that one card, which is the best card that every person getting into travel hacking can start with. You are now sitting on 175,000 points. Let me put that in perspective for you. You could cash that out for $1,750 in cash back. Wow. Just by making that one move. Now the reality is there's something so much better than using it for cashback or using cashback cards by actually redeeming for free travel. And that's where step 3 comes in. So step 1, determine your travel goals. Step 2, sign up strategically for the right cards that align with your travel goals. And I would say the Chase Sapphire Preferred card is the best card that any person can sign up for starting out. Step 3 is then maximize those rewards for free travel. So here's where a lot of people really get off. A lot of people go, hey, I've got some measure of familiarity with like points and miles. I've earned airline points. I've used some or I've earned airline miles, I've earned some hotel points, and that didn't really do a lot for me. Okay, that makes sense because most people don't know how to maximize the value of their points. So what you find is that not all points are created equal. Here's what I mean by that. The value of those points can be significantly more than what you would think redeeming it for cash back, or even worse, if you redeem it for gift cards or something like that. So let's run with the example of the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. Let's say you take my advice, you and your spouse go get that card. You're sitting on 175,000 points. Where could you go? What could you do with that? Well, that would get you, let's see, I think that would get you about 40 nights at a hotel right across the street from Universal Studios in Orlando. That could fly you and your entire family round trip pretty much anywhere in the country. You could be able to rent cars with that. You could be able to pay a pretty good chunk down on a cruise if you wanted to do that. You could do what my wife and I did. So here's what my wife and I did. We took about 175,000 points, 175,000 Chase points in March, and we used it for a birthday trip. So for us, our birthdays are 4 days apart. Wow. And so, yeah, it's kind of fun. We always have this like tradition. Hey, let's get away for our birthday. And now that we travel hack, we don't necessarily have to cut corners on that like we used to. So this year we said, hey, let's do something crazy. Let's go to a Cancun all-inclusive resort. So being here in the Northeast, it kind of feels like we don't see the sun for about 6 months out of the year. It's like borderline frozen tundra here. It gets really cold. And you get to a certain breaking point where you're like, hey, I want to escape the cold. Well, our birthdays are in March. So by that point, we definitely have cabin fever, want to break out and get some sunshine. So in March, my wife and I hopped on a plane. I think it was 15 degrees when we got on the plane in the Northeast. When we got off the plane in Cancun, it was sunny and 85 degrees. So we went and we stayed at an all-inclusive oceanfront resort in Cancun for 4 days, 3 nights. I ate filet mignon multiple times a day. at this place. They had all kinds of incredible food. The rooms were so comfortable. Best sleep I think I've gotten all year was in Cancun. That was great. Well, this place normally retails for $1,500 per night. That's the level of expense that this place is at. Plus, it would have cost about $1,000 to fly us down there. So this is about a $5,500, $6,000 trip. We got it for about 180,000 points.
Well,
so you didn't put you didn't have to book that whole trip on your credit card and go put yourself into debt to go enjoy a great vacation.
We didn't pay a dime.
You did this entire $6,000 getaway with your spouse and didn't pay a dime for it. That's amazing.
So let me just real quick. Let me just do some quick math real quick, just to show you. You could have cashed out those 175,000 points for $1,750, or you could do what I did. And almost 3 to 4x the value of those and get a $6,000 trip for the exact same amount of points, because not all points are created equal.
That's great.
So spending those on redeeming those for gift cards and things like that really undervalues the point system, doesn't it? So travel is kind of the better bang for your point, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I had a friend that looked and said, "Oh yeah, those points you're using, that's how my wife and I go on date nights." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Oh, I just redeem those points for gift cards."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, that's like the worst way you can use them, because you're getting less than a penny per point value." The reason why you get all kinds of emails in your inbox advertising, "Hey, cash in your points for gift cards," is because when you do that, the bank wins and you lose.
Well, tell me this: when you were and by the way, as you're watching this and you have questions about this stuff, listen, put it in, do it as we're talking, and I'll keep saving them. But when you sign up, and brilliant idea, by the way, I never thought about referring my wife as a partner. I want to see if I can refer my 3-year-old son too. But outside of that, I could have 250,000 points if I refer my dogs. But all of that to say, how often does it pay out? Do you get those points in? Is that a yearly thing? Is it a one-time bonus? How does that tend to work?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great question. There are really two types of bonuses. One type of bonus is a welcome bonus. That's a one-time at the beginning of the card, spend a certain amount in a certain amount of time, and you get a large amount of points. So what I described with the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, that would be a welcome bonus. The other type of bonus is a category bonus. And so what's great is you can earn some really significant points just by using your cards, the right card in the right category. So for instance, my wife and I got a card that gave us 10% back on groceries. So we were getting 10% back on groceries through that category bonus. In the span of a year, we earned 120,000 points just from going to the grocery store and swiping that one card every time that we went.
The last 5 years, it got a lot better, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as the price of groceries went up, so did my travel points.
30% more travel points.
Yeah.
So when you say 10% back, so I'm the layman here. 10% back means if you spend $1,000 on groceries, you got $100 worth of points. Is that kind of the idea? Or when you say 10% back, how does that work?
Yeah, so 10% would be for every dollar you spend, you earn 10 points.
Okay.
So to your example, you would earn, that would be 10,000 points that you would earn off of every $1,000 spent. And so that's really what it was for us. We were earning about 10,000 points every month off of our groceries. But again, that reminder, not all points are created equal. If those points are worth 3 cents a piece, 5 cents a piece, 10 cents a piece. So let's say I've cashed in those points for 5 cents a piece in travel rewards and some of the places that we've booked. 10,000 points could get you a $500 hotel room, which would be fantastic. So then it really multiplies the value of those.
Jacob asked a great question here. So 75,000 points, he says, for signing up this month is great. But is there a different time of the year that you would potentially gain a higher value of sign-on points? So is there a different time of the year that you would get more points for signing in?
Yeah, that is a great question. So yes, the welcome bonuses do fluctuate. So you do have at times right now that 75,000 point bonus is actually an elevated bonus right now. The base bonus is 60,000 points that you get with the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. 75,000 points is pretty great. That's a pretty good elevated offer. I think one of the things I've learned is I'm definitely the optimizer. So for me, sometimes I can get trapped in decision paralysis going, oh man, is this really the best one? Like, what if I wait another month? Is it going to get better? Oh, I know it's elevated, but maybe they'll come out with an even better one later on. And I can get trapped in this like optimization spiral. And what I've found is the best time to start was yesterday. So the longer you wait, the more you're missing out on points. And sometimes you can wait for the bigger bonus and you've actually sacrificed the points that you could have been earning between now and then had you just gone ahead and got the card. But for those of you that would say, hey, this is really interesting, I'm really interested into this. Yeah, I would say go ahead and grab that Chase Sapphire Preferred card in the month of July, because this is a great time to start.
Love that. Okay. Does that change monthly, or are there different categories or anything like that?
Does what change the welcome bonus or the category bonuses?
That's what. Yeah, Lacey Claypool's just following up. If does anything change monthly, or are there different categories she needs to be aware of when it comes down to which cards you're getting? Anything that you would say to that?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are a couple cards that rotate quarterly, their category bonuses. I'll be honest, I don't really have the time or energy to be able to keep up with rotating categories. I want something as clear and as simple as possible. And so I would say for 95% of the cards, you're locked into the same category bonuses long term. So we've got a card right now that gets us 4 points back on dining forever. Like, that's not a rotating category. That's not something I have to wonder, are we in the right month or the right quarter? It's that's the one that we use when we're going out to eat or something like that. And so
it's a good word.
So we got about 20 minutes left, and I want to allow some time. We're kind of doing the Q&A as we go, but I want you guys to throw all of your questions in there for Tim. We've got Tim as a captive audience for 20 more minutes. So drop your questions in the chat. We will get to those. So I want to allow some time for that. But I also want to make sure that we cover everything that is crucial for you who are just now experiencing this for the first time. And then Tim also has a really cool offer for you guys at the end that we're going to come back to. But before we get to that, Tim, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit here. I know just from my limited experience with travel hacking, and I'm a certified financial education instructor, so dealing with credit cards and debt and all that kind of stuff is in my purview. And one of the things that comes up repeatedly, especially for those pastors out there who follow a certain individual who is, the king of Christian finance right now, not to name names, but he will tell you you're stupid for doing this because credit cards are awful. They're not giving you free stuff. Don't waste your time on this. Personally, I disagree with it. I think that's a complete myth, and so I'm going to tee you up for that one. But let's talk about some of those myths around travel hacking, and I want to hear your response to the Dave Ramsey mantra on that.
Yes, absolutely. So, Dave Ramsey has really built a brand around his intensity, and he loves to have those like hot take, like viral reactions to things. So yes, you're right. Dave Ramsey literally has videos where he's like yelling in the mic, travel points are the worst. Yeah. And especially for those of us in ministry, a lot of us have had some measure of experience or even benefit from Financial Peace University and some of the things and some of the benefits of that, maybe in our own lives or in the people in our churches. And So, hey, I'm grateful for Dave Ramsey and the solution that Dave Ramsey solves for people in helping them get their finances under control and or to be able to maybe dig out of a financial hole. So I'm grateful for Dave in that, but I'm not somebody who thinks that we have to buy everything that Dave Ramsey says hook, line, and sinker. I think that we can take the benefits and use wisdom and discernment on the other side of it. So to be clear, I've never paid interest or late fees on any one of my credit cards. Everything that I do and everything that I teach is built off of a foundation of financial literacy and wisdom and responsibility. I teach people how to be able to just take the money that you're already spending and make your money work for you. So every time you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas pump, every time you log on to Amazon, you got a choice. How are you going to pay? Well, at the grocery store, you could pull out your wallet and get some cash. You could do the really old-fashioned thing and write a check if you wanted to do that. You could load your debit card into your Amazon account or use that at the gas pump. Or you could use a credit card for the money that you're already spending. But here's what I encourage people to do. I encourage people from day one, right when you sign up for the card, go onto your account and set up auto pay so that you don't even have to think about it or worry about it or risk forgetting it, so that you pay on time and in full your entire balance.
Pay the full balance.
Month.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. And so the reason why travel hacking is a thing, or the reason why credit card companies are so generous with points is there is a harsh reality that it's built out of their marketing. It's funded out of their marketing budget because they're betting on your financial irresponsibility. They will be incredibly generous to get you using their credit card because they hope that you're going to overspend on that. But the travel hacking part of it is, hey, we don't have to live based in materialism. We don't have to get sucked into consumerism. We can simply inject wisdom and strategy into the system that exists and be able to leverage that for the benefit of free travel. And so there's a lot of financially savvy people that use this. There are also a lot of financially savvy people that have some really good questions up front. Dennis asked one, which is one that Dave Ramsey would bring up too, the whole idea of credit score. A lot of us have spent a lot of time building and maintaining good, excellent, fantastic credit scores. And so there's a myth out there that if I open new credit cards, well, it's going to ruin my credit score. Actually, the exact opposite is true. My credit score has grown since I started doing travel hacking. My credit score right now sits at 799. And I think it was at 749 when I got into this. So my credit score has grown by 50 points in the span of time that I've accumulated 3.5 million travel rewards points at this point. It is not financially detrimental. There's all kinds of different, doubts, fears, worries, concerns, myths that people have. So actually, on my website, if you go there, I actually wrote a free guide called The Skeptic's Guide to Travel Hacking, where I walk through the 7 most common myths that most people have hangups about. And I wrote that because those were many of the objections I had to overcome before I was able to get into this. And I find that does a lot in order to kind of satisfy some of those doubts and fears along the way.
Excellent. Any other myths that you're going to talk about some of those in that guide, and I'm going to post the link for that in here. But any other high level myths you want to address before we talk about what you are offering to people and how you want to help dig deeper into this issue for them and really teach them how to do this well? Anything else on that?
Yeah. So I think the only other myth I would say is most people, many of us are busy, driven, fast-paced leaders who are trying to take things off of our plates, not pile more on. And so some people are like, I just don't know that I have the capacity for this. I don't know, seems like a lot of time, a lot of energy. It's really not. The great thing about it, because there's no one size fits all way to do this, there's also no one size fits all pace. You can do this at whatever pace, in whatever way, however fast or slow that you want. So you might just say, hey, I just want to start doing this. I just want to, dip my toes in the water, start doing this a little bit, start engaging it, and then build up over time. That's great, because even a small step can create a big step of rewards and opportunities for you down the road.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right. So let's give people a next step, right? So I know you have got something really cool coming out in the next, is it next week?
It is.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
So,
Launch week.
Launch week is coming up next week. And you guys that are on this live stream, or maybe you're watching the replay of this later, Tim, tell us about your new course that you're offering that teaches people how to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can learn all about it by going to travelmultiplier.com. So along the way, this is not just something that we have benefited from. This is something where I created a business offering an online course and coaching to be able to empower other people to enjoy the freedom of free travel as well. So Michael just dropped a link there in the comments. You can click through that in order to get it. That would be awesome. So next week is launch week for me. I'm launching a brand new course called Becoming a Travel Hacker: How to Unlock the Secrets of Free Travel. So this course is built for people who are just getting into this. So in this course, you're going to go from feeling discouraged with your inability to afford travel to feeling empowered and equipped to take dream vacations for free using points and miles. The average family that goes through that course earns at least $5,000 in free travel in their first year, which is pretty incredible. And again, going back to that busyness objection, it's about 3 hours of on-demand content broken up into 5 to 15-minute modules. So with the understanding, most of us don't have large portions of time that we can dedicate to it. But you get the kids down for a nap, you're driving on your commute to the office, you take the dog out for a walk, you sit in your lunch break, you can easily digest a 5 to 15-minute lesson that's going to help you move forward in your travel hacking journey. So there's no live events that you have to like clear time to join in for. It's all on demand. You get the full thing right off the bat. Cool thing is there are 3 bonuses that I'm offering with it. So enrollment will only be open from July 14th to July 24th. So it's just a 10-day window of time. But if you enroll during that time, there's 3 bonuses that I'm offering. Bonus 1 is the Disney on Points guide. So if you want to take your kids to Disney, you can do that. You can do it for free, and you can walk around knowing that while other people paid thousands of dollars to be there, you got it for free with points, which is great.
Other people are sinking in debt, you're walking free.
There you go.
I love it.
Second bonus I have is my points value calculator. So again, nobody wants to figure out the math on their own. I built a tool where you can very easily just punch in a couple quick numbers and it will quickly and easily ensure that you're getting good value out of your points and not wasting them. Third one is the ultimate guide to using business cards for free travel. So some pastors like me have side gigs, or their spouse has side business or something. There's a lot you can do with business cards as well to accelerate free travel. And so all 3 of those are free bonuses that I'm offering within the course, and love to have anybody jump into that as well.
Love that.
Awesome. So how do they since the course actually launches on the 14th, you have like a pre-enrollment method in there. So when they go to that link on there, they'll be able to sign up in advance and then access it on the 14th. So you can't just clarify, you cannot access that course today if you're watching this live. Not active until the 14th, but you can go ahead and pre-enroll for it at the link that we shared in all the various chat places right now, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing with that. There are a number of sales bonuses that I'm offering along the way. And so if you go on there even today, join the wait list. With that guarantees you not only get the course as soon as it comes out, but you'll get all of the sales bonuses that I'm offering as well beyond the 3 that I just mentioned. So yeah, you can go right now, click through that link in the comments. You go to that in the menu, you'll see travel hacking course. You can go there, or there's buttons all through the homepage that say start travel hacking now. Go there, do that, join the wait list. July 14th is launch day for enrollment. Super excited for that. And I'd love to be able to go on this journey with any of you along the way to help you be able to travel for free.
Yeah. Well, guys, listen, in the last hour, Tim has given you thousands of dollars worth of travel stuff for free. Like, this is the free side of things.
Yeah.
Imagine what you're going to get when you join the course and you're actually a part of his membership and his in detailed training. It's going to be significantly more than that. And so money well spent, I think, in doing that. So Tim, thank you for sharing all of this. I think we maybe have a couple of more questions. We even have some, looks like, in the chat who, while we're on this call, took your advice and signed up for the card. So that's awesome.
Let's go, Brian. Yeah, way to go.
Ian, what else we got?
Not as much questions as we got feedback, but it's good. Jamie Overholser is going to several places that I don't even want to try and pronounce. Very Spanish in those areas, but heading to Puerto Rico, of course. But in February, 2-week trip to Portugal and Spain next June. So not just Spanish. There's some Portuguese in
amazing.
There. But I love it.
I was in Spain last year, and it was absolutely incredible.
So I got to say, Jamie's a friend of mine. He jumped in on the travel hacking journey a little bit ago. And just in their first few months, he and his wife earned over 300,000 points by just following what they learned in my course. And so super excited for Jamie and Julie and all of their world travels for sure. That's great.
I will say there's a couple of them. Lacey asked, Lacey Claypool, do points expire? I'm sure that's different from card to card, but is there a good way to know when points expire, how to know when to use them before they do, and so on? What would you say to that?
That's a great question. Overall, the answer is really no. The points don't expire in the way that I teach people to do it. And so you can get the points and sit on the points for quite a while. Where I'm at right now, what I'm finding, I mentioned earlier, I've earned 3.5 million points, and even my wife and I are going to Europe for 2 weeks for a fraction of those points. And so there are a ton of points I've been sitting on for a while. And the great thing is, I think this is important to highlight too. Yes, vacations matter, refreshment, all of that. But this isn't just about pursuing the opportunity. This doesn't just empower you to pursue the opportunity of vacation. It also empowers you to be able to respond to needs when things arise as well. So last summer, had a family tragedy, and I had to get across the country pretty quickly. And so I grabbed my wife, grabbed my kids. We hopped in the car. We booked the first flight out of town. We hopped on a plane, stayed in a hotel right there, being with family in the midst of a really tragic season of grief. I totaled it up afterwards. It would have cost us $3,000 to be able to do everything that we did to get there, to be able to stay in a nice place where we could be rested in the midst of that tragic season. And at the same time, it saved us from having to pack up the car and drive multiple days in order to get there. We had the convenience to be able to hop on the first and best plane out of town, be able to get there, be with family. And so it's really great to have that opportunity to pursue the opportunities of vacations and have the freedom to be able to respond to needs when those arise as well.
I can tell you as a student pastor, as a pastor in general, but somebody for years, my hope was always, I can't wait to come back here when I'm not leading a mission trip. And I'm sure that is something shared by many people, many pastors specifically. But I love, we used to have a church that I was at a church for years that actually, I don't know if it was a Chase Sapphire. I want to say that it was, because we had Chase cards, but Chase we would use all the points, like the church itself would travel hack before that was a term, and they would build it up so they could send staff for free to places. I don't think this is obviously for the pastor, but even for those of you that are pastors out there with other pastors you serve with or other people, my thought too is if you can save points doing this with your church, you could bless other pastors on your staff or other people that are serving even by just running your church finances. You've got to use a card. You might as well switch that over with your church, switch that over personally. But I watched just incredible, even on the ministry side of it be done well, just because somebody said, oh, hey, I could just use this card instead of this one. And so those are just great points, man. Great points. Thank you so much, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. I see
like
one last question.
Kim Vest. Yeah.
Go
ahead and read it.
Kim just asked, can we share our points with family? Yes, oftentimes you can. You can transfer points. The other cool thing is you can pool your points as a family. And so there have been families that have said, hey, we've got grown kids and we want to be able to come together and do an awesome family vacation, rent a 10-bedroom beach house or something like that. You can actually pool your points together. You can share your points with family members. You can book things on behalf of family members. Somebody else commented and said it helps to fly college kids back and forth for the holidays. Yes, it does. You can do that to use your points for your kids, which is great. So yeah, all kinds of different things. I know that there are probably lots of questions. And so let me just say, if you have any questions, doubts, fears, objections, pushback that you want to interact about, feel free to drop me an email, tim@travelmultiplier.com. And let me encourage you. One of the biggest things I always encourage people to do is don't walk this journey alone. There's over 90 different travel rewards credit cards in the market. And it can be really stressful and challenging to try to figure out which cards are worth it, which cards to get, in what order to get them. And to be honest, the difference between getting it right and wrong is the difference in thousands of dollars in free travel. So I'll save you time. I'll save you mistakes. I'll save your points. And we'd be able to walk this journey together. And I would love to help however I can along the way.
Well, there it is. This is our first workshop. Michael is, I think, came to a pretty successful.
I think so. I think this is fantastic. Great way to kick things off. And so, Tim, thank you again for your time, for what you do, figuring this out. I mean, that's the sign of a great coach and a great teacher, is that you have gone through it, you've experienced, you worked out all the kinks, and you know how to do it, and now you're sharing that information with others that benefits them greatly. So I think there's a lot of families that are going to be blessed by the knowledge that not only what you've shared here, but then also in the course coming up next week. So I'm grateful for you, for your friendship, for what you are doing to help pastors, as well as ministering to families there in your neck of the woods. So thank you for joining us today. We will do this again on the first or the second Wednesday of every month. So coming up in August, we will do another one. We'll get you more details about that and who our guest is going to be on that one. But we want to do things like this every single month that benefit pastors, that help pastors and their families, ministry leaders. And again, you don't have to be a pastor to benefit from this, right? Like, we've titled this How Pastors Can Travel for Free. Obviously, Chase Sapphire is not going to ask you on your application, are you a pastor? No, well, then you can't have our credit card. That's not going to be a thing. So anybody can be a part of this. Our primary focus is aimed at ministry leaders, but anybody can jump in on this. And so, Tim, you're going to impact a lot of families because of this. So thank you for what you're doing. Guys, we're going to end the live stream here, and we will post the recording of this later for you to watch again. And so thank you all for being a part of this with us. Y'all have a great afternoon.
See y'all soon.